In this video, we will talk about Rule of 72 at paano po ito i-apply sa pagbuo ng ating personal na solid financial foundation. We will also discuss ang epekto ng inflation at taxation sa paggamit ng Rule of 72. But bago ang Rule of 72, alam ko mas gusto ninyo pag-usapan muna natin ang tungkol sa the money game. Gusto man natin o hindi, lahat tayo ay naglalaro ng the money game. The money game is a fun game to play. But in order to win the money game, kailangan natin alam natin ang rules nito and its players. The money game has only 3 players: money, interest, and time. At sa tatlong players na ito, sa tingin nyo, sino ang pinaka-importante at most valuable player? Most probably, ang sasabihin nyo, ang importanteng player ay the money. Kaya nga ito tinawag na the money game. But mali pala ito. Ang pinaka-importante pala ay time. Time is the most important. Dahil a relatively small amount of money invested sa mahabang panahon ay maaring lumaki into a significant and life-changing amount. Para mapatunayan ito, let me tell you a story about 3 high school kids named Anne, Bob, and Chris. Lahat sila ay 18 years old and kakagraduate lang sa high school. At lahat sila binigyan ng graduation gift ng kanilang parents sa halagang 4,000 pesos. Lahat sila nagkasundo, instead na gastusin ng pera, they decided to invest the money for their future retirement. Ang Rule of 72 ay ginagamit sa one-time investment only. You put money one time to an investment vehicle at hayaan natin itong lumaki for a long period of time. Si Ann, ang pinili niyang investment vehicle ay yung regular savings bank deposit account. Ngayon, ang savings account, less than 1% ang interest. But for illustration purposes, we're going to use the 3%. Dahil ayon kay Anne, for a period of 48 years upon reaching 66 years old, she is confident that the interest will average to 3% per year. Paano gamitin ang Rule of 72? Simple lang, kunin natin ang number ng interest rate at i-divide natin ito sa the magical number of 72. Ang result will show the number of years na dapat natin hintayin para dumoble ang ating pera. So, sa case ni Ann, 72 divided by 3 equals to 72 divided by 3 equals to 24. Ibig sabihin, kailangan ni Ann maghintay ng 24 years bago dumoble ang kanyang pera. 18 years old nagsimula si Ann, nag-invest siya ng 4,000. So, 18 plus 24 years equals to 42. So, at age 42 years old, dumoble ang pera ni Ann by 8,000 pesos. Para dumoble naman uli ito, maghintay lang siya uli ng 24 years. So, 42 plus 24 years equals to 66 years old. So, 8,000 times 2 equals to 16,000. So, ang pera ni Ann, pagdating niya ng 66 years old, lumaki lang ng 16,000 pesos. Tingnan natin ang investment ni Bob. So Bob decided to put his money also in the bank. But instead of putting it in the regular savings account, Bob put it in a time deposit. Time deposit in the Philippines average between 3 to 4% yearly. At sa tingin ni Bob, mag-average ang time deposit niya by 6% yearly in 48 years. Using the rule of 72, 72 divide it by 6% equals to, the answer is 12 years. So, meaning, every 12 years, ang pera ni Bob ay magdodoble. Thus, at age 30, ang pera ni Bob is 8,000. Then by age 42, it will increase to 16,000. By age 54, it will double to 32,000, and by age 66 years old, it will be 64,000. Now, let's take a look at the performance of Chris' investment. Si Chris decided to invest ang pera niya directly to the economy by depositing his money in a mutual fund equity stocks. Historically, ang growth ng mutual fund is 12% and even higher. So again, we will use the rule of 72. So 72 divided by 12% equals to 6 years. So just the same, every 6 years, ang pera ni Chris magdodoble. So given the timeline of 48 years, by the time na 66 years old na si Chris, ang pera niya ay lalaki into 1,024,000. As you can see, we have the same amount of money invested and also the same period of time, but definitely not the same result. Ann and Bob put their money in the bank. Sa tingin nyo, saan inilagay ng bangko ang pera ni Ann and Bob? Sigurado, the banks probably did what Chris did. Nag-invest sila sa equity stocks and mutual fund. The banks will gladly give Ann and Bob the 16,000 and 64,000 gains and keep the 900,000 profit. Ang ginawa ni Ann at Bob can be considered as a million pesos mistake. Dito makikita mo ang laki ng kinita ng bangko. And this is based on a 12% yearly rate. What more, ang kinita ng bangko sa kanyang credit card na umaabot ng 42% yearly interest rate. Paano kung tinabad si Chris at nag-invest siya 6 years later when he is at age 24? What will happen to his investment? Ang mangyayari ay si Chris ay mababawasan ng isang doubling period at the end. At ang pera niya ay tutubo lang ng 512,000. With bahala na mentality and not investing early, Chris made and lost 500,000 pesos. What if Chris started much early. With the help of his parents, he invested 4,000 at the age of 12 years old. If this is the case, madagdagan ang doubling period ni Chris at the end. So, ang 1,024,000 niya ay magiging 2,048,000. Since hindi na tayo makabalik sa pagiging 12 years old, wala na bang pag-asa? We cannot recover time loss. But if your goal is 2 million, kailangan lang natin palakihin natin ang investment natin sa simula. For example, Chris should invest 8,000 instead of 4,000 to get the 2 million. Reminder, the earlier you start investing, the cheaper is the amount you need to save. And the longer you wait and start late in investing, the more expensive it is. Kung magsimula ka sa huli, kakailangan mo ng malaking halagang pera na. Example, sa case ni Chris, kung 30 years old siya magsimula, kailangan niya ng 16,000. Kung 36 naman siya magsimula, kailangan niya ng 32,000. Pagdating niya ng 42 years old, 64,000. At 48 years old, 128,000. Tapos, kung maghintay pa siya pagdating niya ng 54 years old para planuhin ang kanyang retirement, malaking halaga na 256,000 ang kailangan niyang investment na pera. There's a saying, it's never too late to start, but it will always be late to wait. Kasi kung mag-wait ka at very late ka na magsimula ng investment, malaking halaga ang kailangan mong pera. Okay lang kung malaki na ang income natin. Kung ordinaryong empleyado ka lang, malamang hindi natin kayang mag-invest ng 256,000 compared sa 4,000 na panimulang investment. So far, ang nabanggit ko lang ay ang mga good news. Meron ding bad news. Kasi ang Rule of 72 can also work against you. Kung baon tayo sa utang, kagaya ng credit card loan, ang Rule of 72 can work against us. For example, kung ang credit card loan mo ay may interest na 24% annually, 72 divide it by 24 equals to 3 years. Ibig sabihin, every 3 years, nagdodoble ang utang mo if you just pay the minimum monthly payment. Ibig sabihin, ang Rule of 72 is working for the bank. Habang yung may utang, ang Rule of 72 is working against them. Ang matindi dito, the bank is not even using its own money. It is using others people's money. One factor that the Rule of 72 can work against you is by inflation. Ang inflation ay ang percentage ng pagtaas ng mga bilihin kada taon. Ang present na inflation dito sa Pilipinas ay nag-average ng 4.5%. For this illustration, we're going to use the 3% inflation and how it applies to the Rule of 72. Gaya ng ginawa natin sa interest rate, 72 divide it by 3% inflation rate equals to 24 years. Ang ibig sabihin lang nito na every 24 years, instead na magdoble ang pera mo, ang halaga ng pera mo ay magiging kalahati or will be cut into half. Sa case ni Ann, yung 8,000 niya pagdating niya ng 42 years old, ang halaga lang nito na mabibili ay 4,000. At sa loob ng 48 years period, you will lose 2 doubling period or anumang halaga meron ka after 48 years, ang mabibili lang nito ay 1/4 ng value ng pera mo. Sa case ni Ann, ang 16,000 niya pagdating niya ng 66 years old, ang halaga lang nito ay bumalik lang din sa 4,000 pesos. I-consider naman natin ang taxation. Sa Pilipinas, ang capital gains tax is 20% of the profit or gain. Sa case ni Ann, 16,000 less 4,000 na capital equals to 12,000 na kita. Ang 20% ng 12,000 is 2,500 pesos. So, 16,000 minus 2,500 na tax equals to 13,500 na pera. Tapos, kunin natin ang 1/4 nito para i-factor ang inflation. So, ang halaga lang talaga ng mabili ng 13,500 ay nasa 3,400. So, lumalabas na si Ann nalugi pa ng 600 pesos sa pagdeposito sa savings account. Sa time deposit naman ni Bob, ang nakuha niyang halaga dito na 64,000, ang purchasing value lang nito pag i-factor natin ang inflation ay 16,000 pesos. Factor naman natin ang tax. 64,000 minus 4,000 na capital equals to 60,000. 20% ng 60,000 is 12,000 pesos tax. 64,000 minus 12,000 tax equals to 52,000. I-factor natin ang inflation, so kunin natin ang 1/4 nito, lumalabas na 13,000 lang ang halaga nito mabibili pagdating niya ng 66 years old. So, ang pera ni Bob sa time deposit ay tumubo lang ng times 2 after inflation. Si Chris naman, ang mutual fund is tax-free investment. Pero, hindi exempted si Chris sa inflation. Ang 1,024,000 niya, kunin mo ang 1/4 nito, ang purchasing value nito is nasa 256,000 lang after 48 years. Ang panlaban sa inflation is ang disiplina to invest yearly and regularly. Example, kung mag-invest ka ng 4,000 yearly from age 18 to 21, meron kang almost 4 million. Pero ang mabibili ng 4 million na ito is 1 million. At the same time, kung ang target natin is 2 million, mag-invest lang tayo ng 4,000 for 8 years from 18 years old to 25 years old. So, 256,000 times 8 years equals to 2,048,000. Factored na ang inflation doon.